Yes, people, how is it going? Welcome back to Lily White Lane. Hope that you're all doing good. Hope that you're all keeping safe and well. And in the words of Alan Partridge, I hope that you're all having a really good Wednesday and week wherever you are in the world. And whatever you are planning to get up to. We are heading in to the business end of the season, or as Premier League and football fans refer to it as the run-in. And I wanted to come on here and predict who I think will get fourth spot. I think Manchester City, Liverpool and Arsenal are contending for the league, but fourth spot is very much up for grabs between Spurs, Manchester United and Aston Villa. It's all well and good predicting which team I think will get top four, but I wanted to come on here and look at the evidence, analyse the games that each team have left up until the end of the season, predict them all, calculate the amount of points each team will get, and then finally decide who I think will get top four. You guys can play along at home, or if you can't be asked to do all the calculations, sit back, relax, grab a drink and a snack and watch me do it for you. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions on who you think will get top four. Maybe you think an outsider will get it, a Newcastle, a Chelsea, potentially a West Ham, but for me, those three clubs, as I say, to get top four, you probably need 70 points. They're all, in the 30s. I can't see any of them getting Champions League football. Us, Manchester United and Aston Villa, I think, are the three teams that are really going for that fourth spot. So look, we're going to focus a little bit more on Spurs because it's a Tottenham channel and they're running. So we'll start off with Tottenham. First game heading into the run-in. A lot of people say, the run-in starts in March, the run-in starts in April. For me, end of February is when the run-in starts. That's the business end of the season. That's when you start saying as a fan, you don't care about the performances, it's all about the results. When you start saying that, you're on the road. You're on the road to the end of the season and the run-in. So look, Palace at home is Tottenham Hotspur's next fixture. I have gone with a Spurs win. By the way, I'm not going to predict every score for all of these games. You'll be here up until 5 in the morning. So Palace at home, I've gone with a Spurs win. They're going to have a new manager, Oliver Glasner. I think it's going to take time, though, to get across his philosophy. I think Spurs, 2-week break now. Players returning from injury, hopefully Udogie and Porro. This should be a win at home, and I think it will be a win. So I'm going for 3 points for Tottenham there. Aston Villa away. This also factors into the Aston Villa prediction. Look, I'm going to go with an Aston Villa win. I think it's at Aston Villa, at Villa Park. The place will be rocking because they'll know how important this game is. I've gone with an Aston Villa win. Spurs are very unpredictable this season. I know that more than most fans as a Tottenham fan. So, look, I've gone with an Aston Villa win, and I do believe that is what will happen. Fulham not at home. Fulham away is the third game. I've said that Spurs will get a point. I can't see us winning all of these games, as I say, that we're meant to win. And same for all three of these teams. They're going to be slip-ups in games where I think that teams should be winning. That's why the Premier League is so good. It's so unbelievably predictable when anyone can beat anyone. That's why it's hard to predict the points here. So I've gone with a point there at Villa away. Luton at home, I've gone with 3 points. Like Luton, Rob Edwards is doing a good job there, but at home again, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, could be quite difficult with the way that they play, but I do think we will get the better of Luton. I don't think they have enough quality like a Wolves or another team to catch us out with a high line with quick, pacey players. West Ham away, I've gone with a point. Yes, West Ham have been crap recently. Maybe they have a new manager then, but as I say, they'll also be juggling European football. There's just something about West Ham. They turn up when they play Spurs. They haven't been playing good football this season. They travelled to our stadium, got lucky with both goals, okay, but still, as I say, took a 2-1 lead and won that game. Won that game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So I'm going to go with a point. I'm going to go with the point on that one. Nottingham Forest at home. I'm going to go with 3 points. Again, like what Nuno's doing for them, but at home, it should be a win. We've got some very favourable home fixtures, and with the ones that I'm about to talk about coming up in April, we need to win these ones. Newcastle away. Talk about the run-in, right? These next 4 fixtures, not going to be a piece of cake, are they? I've gone with 0 points. Newcastle at home to Newcastle away is a whole different ball game. St James's Park is always rocking. It's such an incredibly tough place to go. I've gone with the Newcastle United win with that one. Manchester City at home. I know we've got a great record against them. Haven't scored a goal in the Premier League at our new stadium. Only won at our new stadium in 6 games, but I've gone with a Manchester City win. We saw the last time we played them with our style of play is different to when we've gotten all these results against them in the past. I think You've also got to consider when we get these results, we normally play them in February time, January, February. This is the run-in. This is April. This is towards the end of the season in the title race. I can't see them slipping up there. 3 points for Manchester City. Arsenal at home. I've gone with the 3 points for Spurs. Arsenal are a very good team this season. I'm not going to deny that. Recently, they've been absolutely superb. But the North London derby at home, it's going to be a different atmosphere to how it was last season because of the football we're playing. I've gone with a Tottenham win there. Liverpool away, 0 points. Love to say we get something there, but again, run in at the end of the season. Experienced manager in Jurgen Klopp, experienced team in Liverpool. I've gone with 3 points there for Liverpool. 2 favourable fixtures to end the season though. Burnley at home and Sheffield away. Hopefully those 2 clubs don't drag themselves back into a fight to stay up. But it looks like those 2 clubs are going to be 19th and 20th and probably relegated by then. So 2 very ideal fixtures after those 4 really tough ones. I've gone with 2 wins there for Tottenham Hotspur. And one more game to consider, Chelsea away. Obviously postponed, we don't know when it will be rescheduled. I've gone with 0 points there. I think we're a better team than Chelsea this season, but Stamford Bridge, we just can't get going there. Gone with a Chelsea win. So 47 points is what we're currently on before the Palace game when I'm recording this. Plus 20, 67 points is what I've gone with for Tottenham Hotspur. When you actually analyse the games, as I say, I highly doubt that I've got all of those or even half of those right. That's why the Premier League's the best league in the world. I keep saying it because it's so unpredictable. Again, though, I still think you need 70 plus points to guarantee that place in 4th. 67, we still could be contending for it, though. Aston Villa are the next team we are going to discuss in this video they're running. I'm not going to take as much time on each game as I did with Tottenham. So, Forest at home win. Villa Park's been outstanding for them this season. Only a couple of losses, win. Luton away, win. I think Luton are a decent side, but yeah, at this time of the season, win. Tottenham at home, obviously, a win. That is what I have gone with. West Ham United away, win. So I've gone with 4 wins in a row for Aston Villa. And as I say, that could hugely benefit them, just starting to go on a proper run out of these 3 teams when, you know, I haven't predicted Man United yet, but Spurs weren't really able to, judging by my predictions based on the games that we've got. Wolves at home. I've gone with them to drop points here. I think Gary O'Neill's a very adaptable manager. I think he's done a great job at Wolves. I think they've got some dangerous players. I can see that being a really tough game for Aston Villa. And they always turn up against Villa as well. So I've gone with a draw on that one. Manchester City away, that's a loss. That's a loss. I'm sorry. I think they'll give it a good go, but they're not taking points off Manchester City. Brentford at home. I've gone with... Wait, Brentford at home? Oh, sorry. I had a brain fart there. I thought Brentford at home. They played them last night. That was Man City. Brentford at home, I've gone with 3 points. Arsenal away again. I think the Emirates, Anfield and the Etihad, for all 3 of these teams travelling there, I can't see them getting anything. Those 3 stadiums towards the end of the season are going to be absolute... I've forgotten the word I was going to go with when the stage... A fortress, that's it. They're going to be absolute fortresses. So... Arsenal away, 0 points. Bournemouth at home, not an easy game. Bournemouth a good side. There's no easy games in the Prem though, but it is one they should be winning, and it is one I think they will win. Then their last 4 games of the season aren't ideal. Chelsea, Brighton, Liverpool, Palace. Chelsea at home, I've gone with a point. We saw that Chelsea put in a great performance against them when they travelled to Villa Park in the FA Cup. Gone with a point there. Brighton away, I've gone with a point. Liverpool at home, I've gone with 0 points. So close to the end. That's a massive game of the title and top 4 race. And Palace at home, I have gone with a win. So because of that run at the beginning, I have gone with Aston Villa to finish on 73 points. 6 above Tottenham Hotspur. As I say, we win that game at Villa Park. Villa don't go on that run. These predictions could be completely wrong. Those are my thoughts and opinions, and I think their fixtures are more ideal than us. They don't have a run of necessarily really tough games like we do, especially towards the end of the season. I'm going to go with Aston Villa to finish on 73 points. Now, that's normally enough to get top 4. Can United provide a miracle? Let's predict them. Fulham at home. Fulham a decent side, but very, very winnable game. So I have gone with a Manchester United win there. Manchester City away. Never know. Form goes out the window in the Manchester derby, but again, like I said a second ago, I can't see any teams really going to Anfield, the Emirates or the Etihad and getting anything towards the end of the season. Manchester City, I'm going to go to win that game. Everton at home, I'm going to go with a Manchester United win. Sheffield United at home, I'm going to go with a Manchester United win. But I'm going to pick them to drop points at Bournemouth away. This could be, a game where Man United get something, but Iraola is doing a good job there. Away against Bournemouth, when you consider they beat them 3-0 at Old Trafford. Styles make fights and different tactics make games. I'm going to go with a Bournemouth... Well, not a Bournemouth win. I'm going to go with a draw. I'm going to go with 1-1 on that one. And as I say, a +1 point for Manchester United. Chelsea away. Stamford Bridge against the mid-table teams and lower teams hasn't been great. Stamford Bridge against the top teams this season has been really, really tough. It's been a really difficult place for people to go, Stamford Bridge, or at least for the top team. So I'm going to go with maybe a surprise. I don't really think so. I'm going to go with a narrow Chelsea win on that one. Liverpool at home. Because it's at Old Trafford, I'm going to say that Liverpool drop points, and I'm going to say that Manchester United grab a point. If it was at Anfield, very different kettle of fish, very different story. But here, I'm going to go with a point. Hang on. I think I said the Bournemouth game. Or did I say the Bournemouth game? No, I'm getting confused. Who's that there? I think I've mucked up the predictions. Hang on a second. I need to check. Have I mucked up the predictions? Because I've got them down below. I think I've mucked up. Yeah, I went with Bournemouth already. Okay, so Newcastle at home. That is the next game we are going to be discussing. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to go with a win for Manchester United. At Old Trafford, I think they will pick up all 3 points. Palace away, Oliver Glasner. I'm going to go with a point there. Arsenal at home. Big game, I think. Old Trafford, maybe they put up more of a fight, but I struggle to see any of the top 3 teams dropping points at the end of the season. I'm going to go with a Manchester United loss. And Brighton away, I'm going to go with a point. So I have calculated Manchester United to finish on 64 points. Tottenham Hotspur to finish on 67. And Aston Villa to finish on 73. I think, look, from Aston Villa's perspective, if they get Champions League football in top 4, what a fantastic season that's been for them. I mean, when you consider, right, when Unai Emery came in last season, they were 17th, shambles of a club, as I say, with Steven Gerrard. They sacked him. The fact he got them into Conference League. I think Europa League's a fantastic, season for them this season. And maybe injuries, as I said, I have to make this disclaimer. Big injuries can happen. That's why this league's so hard to predict. It can completely change these predictions. But I think if my predictions come true and Aston Villa get Champions League, Emery has to be given, manager of the season. Because I don't think many people expected them to get Champions League. So, look, it's a real possibility. Europa League, again, is massive progress for Villa. They're in the Conference League. They got a good chance of winning that. It's not the strongest competition. I think Villa are in for a very, very good end to the season. I think when you look at all the run-ins for these teams, as I say, I think we've all got to play Arsenal, Liverpool and Manchester City. I could be wrong there, but some really tough games for all 3 clubs. But I think Villa will get over the line. 73 points, 70 plus points in my opinion will be enough to get Champions League. So Villa for me get Champions League. Spurs, look, if you don't get Champions League, I can already see some fans being reactionary, but for me, it's a transitional season. Finished 8th last season, shambles of a club, manager after manager sacked. It's all about transitioning, starting the rebuild, and we've already seen so many great signs under Ange Postecoglou. Anything above 8th, in my opinion, playing the football we have and the fact that we've changed around the philosophy of the club is massive progress. And 5th, at the end of the day, when all's said and done, I know I sound like, at the end of the day, when all's said and done, Bryn, sound like Nessa from Gavin and Stacey, but so at the end of the day, I think 5th is a very good season for us, a very good season for Ange Postecoglou. And at the end of the day, we get in the Champions League. I'll be happy, Spurs fans will be happy, but do we really have a chance of winning it? I'm not sure. Whether you look at the Europa League, I think that's a very winnable competition, especially if we really strengthen our squad in the summer. Obviously, Champions League, you get Champions League money, but Europa Leagues are very winnable Very winnable competition. But look, obviously the Champions League the one you want, but the Europa League I wouldn't be complaining, and it'd still be a good season. United finishing 6th, I think compared to what they thought they were going to finish and the way their season was going a couple of months ago, I think their fans won't be content with it, but won't be furious with it. But it's not been a good season for United. Even if they don't get top 4, in my opinion, it's not been a good season for United. Finished 3rd last season, and as I say, knocked out of the Champions League in the group stage. They still could win the FA Cup. That is a consideration. Spurs are the only team out of these 3 that don't have a domestic competition. Obviously, the injuries can change things, but Manchester United knocked out in the Champions League in the group stage. FA Cup they're still in, but some really embarrassing and poor defeats and losses. Starting to go on a little bit of a run now, 4 wins in a row. We'll see if they can maintain that. I think it'll be 5 against Fulham, and then who knows what confidence can do. But I think 6th for Manchester United isn't a great season. They've got some really good up-and-coming players, though, which is one thing they can take away from this season, the development of Garnacho, Kobbie Mainoo, as I say, Rasmus Højlund. I think they're all very, very talented players. And again, though, if injuries didn't hit Manchester United and Spurs, would we both... Look, I don't want to discredit Aston Villa too much, and they've had, injuries recently, but I think us and Man United have had serious injuries to many players across the course of the season, where if we didn't have them, season could be going very differently for both of us. We could still be in the Champions League. Man United could be in the Champions League, or at least higher than where they are, and contending with some of the top teams. So, look, I think injuries play a massive part in why the teams are where they are now, and could play a massive part in where they finish. It's very hard to predict the Premier League, but I have gone with Villa 4th, Spurs 5th, and Manchester United 6th. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below on the rest of the season. Thank you for watching this video. Where do you think each of the teams will finish? What do you think about my predictions? I want to hear all your thoughts and opinions. Take care, all the best, have a smashing rest of your day, and as always, commonly Spurs, Enoch and leave you out in Big Ange, we trust.